We live with Chief Pontiac in the building. But it go in on some. Everybody was interested in this topic, Rod. They was like, "Oh yeah, I like this because it's like about having positive people around you and different perspectives of that thing." So everybody wanted to. They like this class, so we wanted to hear what you got on that. You said you had a public service announcement you wanted to make as well.
Yeah, the public service announcement go first because you got to be able to clip it out later and make it into a short.
Okay, that's right. That's right. Go ahead.
Okay, so the public service announcement, and this is the information notice to the clans of the land. All clans being notified by timestamp, archive, and datable format. Okay, so the public, I had a meeting today. This was the meeting of all meetings. This is where the alpha meet the omega, as in the alpha male meets the omega mother. Okay, so remember I told y'all July the 4th, 2019, the contract expired. We got 72 hours to respond. On July the 6th, 2019, I issued a public notice to exercise the blood and the right for all of the tribes to be restored to prior conditions based on the blood and the right to restore the matriarchy. Now, when I make this public notice, one of the matriarchs is going to be called to go collect a very key piece of document, and it's the what we call original alloidial title issued to the Rothschild family under the banking corporate jurisdiction operating under Uniform Commercial Code and Admiralty and Maritime Law, right? So on July the 19th, 2019, right, Empress Rarebird, chiefess on the land, was called. She had the first stop in Egypt. I got to make this clear, because if they don't go through Egypt before they go to Europe, they sending them in the wrong direction, right? So we went over a lot of paperwork. Within that paperwork, Dr. Malachi Z. York's name is part of the alloidial title complaint and recovery, right? So we have to just put it in the public domain that the alloidial title and the holder of the alloidial title from the land with a direct matriarchal descent to the original bloodline has contacted me to close everything out. It's a wrap. Nothing else to do after this. There will be no 2024 elections. The banks are on the verge of closing. They will be closing at any moment without notice. When it happens, none of the tribes is to panic, because that's why you had to remove the panic from the equation. Exit stage left, brother, panic. So it's an ancestral order that came through the bloodline of the matriarchs to recover the alloidial title held by the enemies who came in as the Scottish Rite Freemasonic Order. They have now, all of these, everything traces back to a single document, and that's what you call a cornerstone in Masonry. And redemption of the cornerstone is the setting of the capstone. It's a royal arc degree. Red house, blue house meet in the middle, and it's the purple light in the fiat lux. All of the key points of the light have been located, which is the light codes of the DNA, right? So now what we're going to be doing is watching the last closing of the corporate entity formerly known as the United States of America, and the recovery of the land by the organic inherited right of the land. of the matriarchy and the restoration of the matriarchs. We will be assembling 72 elder sisters as the lawgivers of the land. And from there, all of the chiefs have to come and show their part in the work to those elders so that we will know how to best remedy the brainwashing done to our people and to restore them and love them back into the circle. This all going to carry us for the next 7 generations into what we know as the golden age. This is the closing of all contracts, and the notice to agent is notice to principal. But the only people we need to notify is us that we back in the driver's seat, right? The beginning has met its end. Now we begin again with a new day. So they can take it for what they want. They can accept it or don't accept it. They can debate it. They can argue it. But it's going to be revealed that the matriarchs is back in effect, that none of the corporate jurisdiction is any longer functional on the land, right? So law enforcement, court systems will be systematically closed, and they will be replaced with the National Guard until such time as the tribes understand how to reclaim and recontrol their local neighborhoods. In other words, until the tribes is reset, we're going to use military people born here to govern us over here, right? When the banks open back up, this is when everybody's going to get their payout. Okay, notice agent, notice the principal, all tribes on notice. All right, that's the public service announcement. So now we can go to class.
Hey, we got a quick question before we go to that, on that what you were talking about. Now, they said something about what about the digital dollar? Like, so it's gonna come back as still paper money, big mama's money, or digital dollar?
Look, Elder, I don't personally care. But whatever it is going to be backed by substance. There will be no more fiat. There will be no more credit system. Credit is gone. That is slavery. We abolishing all slave-related enterprise. Right? So whatever form the currency return as, we got to do a buyback for the fiat money so that the people don't incur great loss. And then the rightful heirs and their descendants will be notified as to how to recover their family's shit back. Basically, we want our shit back. We don't need reparations. That's a distraction. This is bigger than reparations. This is the return of your rightful inheritance to the earth. In all things produced of the earth born is to receive first benefit. Period. That's it.
All right. Well, I guess that answers the question for the brother that had that question about the digital currency. Now we can get into the class, man. People surrounding you. Yeah, because I did a little research on that because I never heard of this word before. You said it, told me about it. And then I did a little research on it about the people around you. Hey, so go ahead. Hey, just go ahead. I'm going to mute my thing because I got like a little beat going on in the background. So I'm going to be muted out. But if you say something.
Okay, so we're going to start with the first picture of the man with his aura.
Okay, I got you right now. Let me share that. Boom. 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 All right. It's going to be in this folder right here. Can you see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Need to cut that damn beef off. Okay. Which one is it? So the one with the deuce with his aura surrounding him, but
yeah, the single individual.
Would it be this one or the?
That's good right there.
Hey, y'all, rob out, peace, family. Hit that like button, y'all. If you're new to the channel. You know, we known for cracking heads and twisting caps. So we're doing a ball cap disclaimer right now. Make sure you get your hard hat in the building. We got Skype 8 at the North Gate. When you're not, with a bump straight. All right, here we go, Rod.
Okay, so what you're looking at is the auric field around each individual. Using Curlian photography, this is what you would be looking at. The shape of the grid around it, right? That's called the torsion field or a torus field. Okay, so you notice in the middle, there's a smaller representation of the bigger one.
Yeah.
Because you operate from two distinct energies, love and fear. Fear is your animal instinct. Love is your divine inheritance. Love is the first principle, so it's always going to consume the base instinct. And you see in the middle, you'll see the heart with the red around it. Right? So the earth also has an auric field that's a torsion field just like this. Right? Now, go to the one where, okay, wait a minute. While you thinking and going through your studies, this is the mind matrix that you are in as an individual. Right? Now, let's go to the one with the two people and the aura. This one, yeah.
Hold it down and go back. Okay. All right, here we go.
Now, if you look when they interact, right? Now you notice it looked like it's 3 humps going across the top. These are 2 auras coming together, and this is creating a third entity of mind. Right? So now when you thinking, you covering all of that area. Right? Now, this is a male-female heart-to-heart link, which gives you your point of balance and counterbalance. The woman is operating from mitochondrial. The man is operating from the Y chromosome.
Okay.
She's the X, he's the Y. These are the 2 unknown variables in algebra, the X and the Y. Because when you bring them together, alpha meets omega, you create another entity or egregor, which goes into the definition of the word. If we go to Google and type in the word, you want to do that, Elder? Yeah. Type the word in on Google so they can see the definition of what an egregor is.
I got you. Come on, what it's going to do, baby? You're going to load up the man. Let's see. Come on. What the fuck is it going on? Yeah. Hey, Rob, family, peace. If you come into the building, hit that like, hit that subscribe button, share and like. Let everybody know we live and lit with Skype 8 at the North Gate. We about to
guys say twisting caps and cracking heads.
We got them on the ropes right now, Rob. We got them on the ropes. Outstandingly bad, shocking. Is that right?
That's egregious. That's not egregor.
Oh shit, hold up. My bad. That's the last part. Here we go. Oh yeah, I read this earlier. Okay, all right. Is an esoteric concept representing a non-physical entity that arises from the collective thought of a distant group of people.
Okay, now
Yeah.
type in law of success in 16 lessons, because this is where you get a description of how the egregor can work for a group of people, whether they know it or don't know it. It's called the mastermind group. So it's in this book. Take out the egregor part.
What's the name of that book you said again?
Law of success.
Oh, I got it. Here we go, right here.
Okay, so this is the book I'm going to be quoting from. I'm going to show y'all what. This book right here.
Napoleon Hill. I heard that.
Yeah.
I heard that author before. Oh yeah, I see it.
Okay, this is a book that you would get if you was trying to learn how to be an entrepreneur and build from the ground up a successful enterprise. Whatever it is, it don't matter. This is the keys to success. But one of the 16 lessons, number 3, is called the mastermind. How it is created through harmony of purpose and effort between 2 or more people, right? So we're talking about an egregor or a thought form, right? So in your Bible, it says when 2 or more come together in my name, there I am also, right?
Right.
So in the hologram, every part of the hologram holds the information of the whole hologram. When you take a piece of the hologram, you can see the whole of the hologram from that one piece. This is what we're talking about in the mind format. So the law of success in 16 lessons, lesson 3 is the mastermind, how to establish a mastermind group. This goes back to the matriarchal tradition of when they say the best person for the job is the one supposed to do the job. The one who is qualified to teach is obligated to teach. Your qualifications don't come from your bachelor's degree or your PhD. Your qualifications come from what do you actually know and what you can actually prove. So when we're talking about creating the mastermind group, the quality of the people that you put in determines the nature of the egregor or the thought form. Now, let's go to type in the crowd, Gustave Le Bon. This is another book. This is the book on sociology that tells you how the crowd or the egregor operates, right? So these is just reference for y'all to understand what I'm talking about as we go deeper into the topic.
It's okay to not be
deeper into the topic. CROWD, the crowd. CRO.
Oh shit, I gotta go ahead and know what the fuck I'm doing. What's the name of it? The author?
Just type in LEBON. That's his last name. It should come up.
Right here. You see it right here, Rod?
Hold on, it ain't came up on my screen yet. Can you see the authors? Yeah, that's it. This book right here tells you when you get a group of people together that they get swept up in the thought form that the group of people create, right? So this is what we're talking about when we talking about an egregor. So it's the energy of a group of people taking on a mind of his own, separate from any one of the individuals in the group. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the universal mind, right? The universal mind is the egregor that all humans that ever exist or will exist creates, that gives us what we call reality.
Okay, go
The
ahead.
collective egregor of all humans that ever existed and ever will exist is called the universal mind. This is the Akashic record, or the sacred hall of records. This is where prophets get future predictions that's accurate. And this is where historians be able to read between what's given to know what actually took place, because the egregor can show you the difference between the false information and the real information. And then you'll be able to go find references to point people to understand what the universal mind is saying. And these what we call our thought leaders of the day, right? So our culture is created by the thought leaders of the era that changes as different individuals with different experiences come to the forefront in the society, what we call the rise and fall of leadership, right?
Good shit.
So now we coming from under old Babylonian sacred rites that we call sin rites, which made everybody be a sinner, because this was driving the universal egregor. Individuals within the egregor, the universal mind, is obligated to teach themselves to override what the common concepts and ideas is, in order to be able to read what the universal egregor is telling them, right? So when the universal egregor is going to come to a singularity, all thought forms converge. We call it the collapsing of the quantum realm. It all gonna come to a singularity. Mm-hmm. Go back to the movie The Highlander. Remember, their motto was, in the end, there can be only one. Right? Now, in the cultures around the world, they tell you about it. In Africa, it's the flaming spear. Mm-hmm. In the Americas, it's the golden arrow. In Asia, it's the staff, or that the Monkey King swings. Right. But it's all the significance of the driver of the egregor has to be the one who has acquired the most understanding of all conditions that we face with, and the remedies as well. So that means that you can't just come, see the problem, and to identify the problem and be the one without a solution. Mm-hmm. Right? All of the earth ills fall under the patriarchy right now. So the remedy is to restore the matriarchy, right? Noble Drew Ali say, uplift fallen humanity. Mm-hmm. Right? Fallen humanity is who? The Great Mother. What do you mean? The throne of the Pope has been undermined, or the throne of Big Mama, by the Pope. Right? So if the Pope is sitting under Big Mama's seat, he becomes what we call Jacob. Okay. Yakub. Yaka. Right? So it becomes a verb. We watching them do it. But now we have to make them undo it. We have to reverse engineer the problem by presenting the solutions to the problem at every step of the way. This is what you call the cleansing of the great egregor. As we move to a singularity, people start to understand the information better, because the vibration of the chosen ones and the light codes are the keys to touch in a person's mind to wake them up from their slumber. Basically, you setting their alarm clock off. They internal alarm clock, right? Which takes us back from mortality to immortality, because mortality is perceived during the sleep state when you awake. But the immortality is perceived through the awakened state because you sleep, right? Mirror effect, as above, so below, flipping the Lucifer lens, right? So just like you think that the brain is the mind, but the brain is just the capacitor or the hardware to download the information that you call mind, right? So now we need a translator of the universal mind that can speak it in the common language of the people that's supposed to drive the egregor, the 5%, the po-righteous teachers, right? So we looking at flipping mirrors. While the Nation of 5% was founded in New York by Father God Puddin, Clarence 13X, the Red House was rising off the brother out there in California who was a Pyru, and his name was Puddin, right? So he's reflecting what's coming from the East in the West, right? Now the West reflect back off the Blue House of what's being written in New York, black and gold, off the great son or the great father, Allah, Clarence 13X, who's reflecting Chicago, right? Which is Elijah Muhammad, which is telling us that the great mother is the one who can clearly see Muhammad, the praiseworthy, right? You can't clearly see Muhammad until you've paid the fard. The fard is the wage. And the image of the picture that you are given is a mirror image telling you to study your way out and use the mirrors to see what I'm telling you, which takes us from Chicago back to Detroit. 313 equals 7. This is the master city of the master knot. The 7 is circled, but there's 4 breaks, north, south, east, and west. And in come the one that's the bearer of the news, right? The news is the information that's being referred to the 5 po-righteous teachers that it's time for all tribes to arise and return back to your original self. Go back to yourself, accept your own, and be yourself, right? So now all of the tribes can trace back to the 313, the temple number 1 Nation of Islam was established across town, east side, west side, to the shrine of the Black Madonna, Albert Cleage, right? So now we got the shrine, Blue House, across from the Red House Nation. Now it's the flip. The one from the Blue House, the 7th son, is to come out and point to the Red House to determine the mother line is the bloodline and tell y'all that Clara Muhammad was Big Mama until she passed it on. Right? You got to always leave a successor for your work. I inherited the war chief, Chief Pontiac, Ottawa war chief's work based on the blood and the right. This all traced back on the bloodlines, right? So the universal mind is waking us up collectively in order to reclaim what's ours. So now we got to shut down the slumber, which is shutting the matrix off, right? The last 2 things is to close their banks. Now, in the public service announcement, the sister directly got the alloidial title straight from the Rothschilds, who was the holders, right? They was left to protect the blood right. Rothschild mean blood shield. They can only give it to the rightful heir, right? So in the universal egregor, the collective unconscious of the collective of the people, we can go there and find that all information is available to us. We no longer need the teacher. We need to become God.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The God self is the self that know all things. This is a new understanding of the old paradigm. We did this before and we'll do it again in another 25,000 years.
Right.
Right? So closing out the age is finally complete when we find the matriarch, the blood matriarch recipient of the alloidial title. This is all driving, we're in the driver's seat of the great egregor now. Right? So you see that all of the chiefs is working for a common purpose, but they're working in what looked like a different direction. Right? Because they all got a different function to fill. If everybody did the same thing, we would never get out of the condition that we don't like. Right? So in order to get out of the chapter of misery, misery is caused by fear. The side of the physical manifestation of fear is called pain. Right? And love heals all things. Right? Because the love of the ones driving the egregor is what changes the universal mind. The changing of the universal mind is represented by the individual who don't take sides and he can see all things. Therefore, he can say whose mind need to be changed. But you can't tell the individual because the individual is a subproduct of the whole. The individual got to come to their own conclusion to receive their own awakening of the self, which is the inner God in you. So we become master knockers as students trying to find our way out of this egregor, right? And the only way out is to go deeper within. You have to go to the subconscious of the egregor, or what we call the sacred halls of Amenti, the unknown land, right? And the sacred halls of Amenti is where the sun go at sunset. It's all metaphors, right? And meta is a byte of information. It's less than a byte of information, right? So by giving it in the metaverse, right, in the smaller verse, then it reflects the egregor in what we call the omniverse or the universal mind, the great egregor, right? Let's go back to the slides. I'm gonna pull up another receipt to show them.
I got you. Hey, shout out my brother Mark Cooper, man, and family. Right? Shout out my brother Randy Christian. Here we go right here. Okay, we got that. Boom, boom. All right, boom. Back to the slides. Hey, y'all, hit that like. We got like 600 people in here. Hit that like right now. Let them know we on. Let them know Skype babe at the North Gate. And when we knocking right now, we doing some knocking right now. You know what I'm saying? Head knocking. And cap peeling. And cap twisting.
Okay, see the colorful picture that was coming up next?
Bro, you might want this. So I'm going on. Shout out my people in Atlanta.
The one you got the
right here, right?
It's the one to the right of that picture.
Y'all, it's a big storm coming to Atlanta. Okay, I'm gonna go back to it right now. As soon as it load up, I'll be able to slide it over. Hey, y'all, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Okay, there we go. Right there.
Mm-hmm.
That one right there, Rod?
No, go the other way. It was in the whole slide. It was next to that. There you go. Yeah. Okay. Now, when we look at different people using Kirlian photography, can you make that a little bigger? Okay. This is what you would look like if you see three people together. Right?
Okay.
I'm finna show you us building a great egregor or universal mind. There's just three random people walking down the street under Curlian photography. You notice that each person's color code is different, right?
Yeah.
That's because they operating from a different chakra, but they still inside of their own auric field,
Right.
right? So when you see this, these people overlapping, okay, in the energy signature, these people would be in what's known as Metatron's cube, the auric field, in the energetic signature when they balance. When you imbalance, it'll stay like this, right? Go to the one with the picture of the man standing in what looked like a 6-point star.
Okay. All right, go ahead. Did you send me that one with the 6-pointed star?
No, try.
Okay.
Let me look. Hold on.
I don't see that one.
Okay, let's go to Tahuti with the holding the star life.
Okay.
Let's make that one bigger.
I got you.
Okay, now you see in a 1D form or 2D form, this would be a 6-point star, but it's drawn where you can see it's 3D imagery. Upright triangle, downward facing triangle, which means as above, so below. Right? This is called the star life. Now, put a circle around that, and that's the individual's auric field. Right? Now, this picture, Tahuti holding the star life in the right hand, this is the key to understanding the universe. When you understand the self as this piece right here. Right? Okay. Go out and I tell you the next picture so I can see them all, and I tell you what picture to pull up next. Go to the bottom picture far right. And we just gonna start going through the rest of the slides in order.
I got you.
Okay, blow the picture up. I'm more concerned with the picture image than I am with the words. Okay, that's good. The part right here, this is the Freudian description of the conscious mind and the unconscious mind. Everything that you're aware that you think is above the waterline.
Ever felt frustrated?
Everything that you're aware that you think is above the waterline. You got that? Everything that you think that you're aware of is above the waterline. Right? That's the conscious mind. That means that's the part of the mind you're aware of. That means the unconscious mind is everything that you are not aware of that's taking place below the waterline. Right? Now, notice that the iceberg is in the water. Water is symbolic for spirit. The solidified spirit is the expression of the physical reality. Right? So this is the individual seen as a spirit entity, as a block of ice. Every time you go to sleep, you go below the waterline.
Go ahead.
Right? And when you wake up, you come back above the waterline. This is why they say we was in the Piscean age. Everything was underwater, but we're going into the Aquarian age, an air sign. When the cold air hits the water, it forms the ice. Right? So now everything you are aware of has a counterpart that's deeper than you think below what you are aware of,
Go ahead.
right? So this is called tapping into the universal mind. When you go into a hypnagogic state, you are where your eyes are parallel to the waterline.
Mm-hmm.
You neither woke nor you sleep, you just at the waterline. In order for you to go below the water, you have the propensity to close your eyes, right? When you close your eyes, it appears everything went dark, but when you get underwater and you open them, you see a different reality than you saw, but it looks similar to the one you saw when you was awake, right? Let's go to the next slide. The conscious and the conscious, unconscious, and superconscious mind. Now, we just seen the conscious in the subconscious or the unconscious. Now we going into the superconscious, right? So this is a reference book to help y'all get deeper understanding of what I'm saying. The superconscious mind is the great egregor. The great egregor is all of the unconscious or subconscious minds being linked together as one, right? Next slide. Okay, this is another way of looking at the same thing. When they say preconscious mind, that means while you are waking up or while you are going to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
It's only preconscious when you coming from unconscious to conscious. When you go in the other way, it's post-conscious or unconscious, right? Unconscious mind is where you going. So that's the barrier in the middle, what they call the barrier of no pass or the barrier of fear. Everything you fear is in that part we call the preconscious, because you haven't realized the universal mind that you can only realize unconsciously, right? So now let's go to the next one.
Right.
There we go, flower of life. Now, when we've seen all of them people overlapping, this is what the earth is doing now with the matriarchs. This creating this flower of life in matriarchs aware around the world, right? All of them together forms they are a Tesla coil or a mitochondrial connected web around the earth, right? This was what it would look like when all of the auras start overlapping around the earth. You get the flower of life. Let's read the description under it, Elder. A series of overlapping circles.
A series of overlapping.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, finish reading.
A series of overlapping circles that can build infinites outward, forming a flower-like grid. All geometric forms can be found within it. Damn, my phone did. It is used as a blueprint for most complex, scarce geometry shapes,
sacred geometry shapes,
like Metatron cubes and Merkabah's symbolism, creation, and remind us of the unity of everything. We're all built from the same blueprint.
Okay, now it says in the second one that the blueprint for more complex sacred geometry shapes like Metatron's cube and Merkaba. The Merkaba is what it looked like as the one that Thoth is holding in his hand. Metatron's cube is the Merkaba of the earth, right? That's the difference. The earth got its own Merkaba, but we inside of the earth Merkaba, right? And the earth Merkaba is Metatron's cube because it's the collection of all the Merkabas on the earth. Okay, so this is the Metatron's cube. See, like a 6-point star. This is the 2-dimensional representation of it. All right. But it's the same symbol. This is just the one that belongs to the earth. So you see, it's 7 key circles in this one, because you got 1 in the middle and you got 6 around the outside.
Yep, that's right.
Okay, you got G is the 7-letter made, and G is the letter in the middle. You also see in there, you see what's known as the compass and the square of the Masonic Lodge, right? That's because the Masonic Lodge was the original rites of passage prior to infiltration. Once they was infiltrated, they became subjected to the misinformation, right? Which brought us to morals and dogma, right? So let's go back to the ones we got already. Go to the next one. Okay, now this is what we call the auric field. Each color is representative of which chakra it would be vibrating the highest in frequency. When you is stuck in your root chakra, you stuck in base desire. When you reach your crown chakra, you have liberated yourself from all of the ones in the lower 3 chakras, and you free yourself into the universal mind, the great egregor, the great thought form. The third eye, you can see it. The throat chakra, you can explain it. The heart chakra, you can feel it. The crown chakra, you just know it, right? The crown chakra activation is also what we call the royal arc degree. The root chakra is your building stone, your cornerstone, because all other chakras begin with the activation of a root chakra. The root chakra is first activated up on your final determination of gender, right? And the enemy was converting the children by altering the root chakra in early childhood development, which throws off the development of every other chakra after, right? Which confuses the ones within their own auric field. The only way to find liberation is to become aware. The only way to find liberation is to become aware of the trauma in the root chakra that keeps you trapped in the lower 3 chakras, and you can't control your appetite. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, this is another book, I believe, that's showing you. So I sent him this picture because all of these people in the back is forming this egregor in the front, and they are unaware that they're doing it, right? But that's just the art for the imagery to understand how it works. So you got egregors, mobs, and demons. A malevolent thought form is called a demon, right? When you purify your ego, you can see the thought form or the error in the thought clearly, right? This is what they call in Dianetics the engram, which is an implanted thought that's supposed to take you away from your realization of the self, right, in the great egregor. And mobs is an egregor that's being controlled by the lower instincts of survival and fear. This is what gives you riots. The difference between a riot and a march is the control of the egregor at the base level, right? So go to the next one. I want to try to get to all of these before we just go into Q&A. So this is another explanation that'll help you understand it better, right? This is the different types of people that make up an egregor, right? So you start from the bottom, and it say egregorial idlers. These are people fascinated by various ideas, spending a lot of time for each devotion, or what we call devotees. Then you got egregorial puppets. People fulfill the complex and supported in life by egregor idea as compensator, a kind of sectarian. These are the ones, this is where divide and conquer is played at, on this energy level of the egregor. Then you got egregorial leaders, priests at the top of the egregorial pyramid, and obtaining feeding from the egregor. They vary due to variation of egregorial dynamics. In other words, when the great mind is trying to do something, these priests is the ones that's manipulating the ones on the next level down. Right. But it doesn't work on the ones that's called idlers, because they born locked into a devotion they can't escape as a birthright.
Wow.
And this is why the strongest ones stay at the bottom the longest. Okay, then the next one up is person of egregor mass. Common persons ridden by the influence of many egregors and led by them. His thinking varies moderately, since the influence of differently oriented egregores is mutually compensated. This is your 80%. These are the ones that the egregorial leaders can lead from being of a lower station than them. They can still be led by the infiltration of artificial egregores created by the egregorial puppets.
Wow.
Right? Now you got what's called your super egregorial players. These are what you would call the gods of the earth. Shielded from egregores, people created egregor controlled only by their will or intention. Now, when you at this level, you can see all the way to the bottom. That's the po-righteous teachers you trying to reach.
Right.
The devotees at the very bottom is the strongest. They the ones least likely to interfere with any of the bullshit. But when they see it and they know that the super egregorial players is exposing the frauds in the middle, they begin to stand up. And those are the ones we call the braves.
Go ahead.
And the ones who is identifying the frauds is the ones we call the true leaders. The leaders that carry the true light. Sound familiar, Elder?
Yeah. Right.
The true light is the light of love, which is the green light, Sufi order, homage to Pops, aka Malachi Z. Kobina York. Right? So when Baba was telling us about the book, The Mind, you ever notice that the cover of that book is green?
Go ahead. I ain't never think about that.
Yeah, the original publication paperback, it had I think that same symbol behind your head on it, and it said The Mind. That's it. So what he was telling us is, if we're gonna stay at the bottom, right, make the ones in the middle do what's right first, or become the ones at the top. There's only two options. If you're going to get the people on the understanding of what's taking place, you either got to take out the ones in the middle. The priests is the ones waging the war against the egregorial idlers, the po-righteous teachers. And we the ones trying to tell the po-righteous teachers it's time for us to take what's ours.
That's right.
No retreat, no surrender. We not backing down and we not giving up. And the only way to lose is to surrender your birthright or abandon your birthright. You abandoning your birthright by fleeing your homeland. right? You surrender by being perfectly aware of your birthright, but telling somebody else that you came from somewhere else so that you don't have to deal with the conflict of receiving what's rightfully yours.
Right.
Right. So as the minister would say, "Oh, you scared to death ass Negroes can go sit down. This ain't your fight."
Go ahead.
Right? Because first of all, you have to be a brave heart. If you're a brave heart, Nas, right? Nasir means the light.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
The brave hearts is the ones that's aware of the location of the Queen's Bridge. The Queen's Bridge is the bridge over the troubled waters. And the troubled waters is the Trail of Tears. You have to go back down the Trail of Tears, even if you use the ceremony in Muskogee Creek, right? In order to do what our people was being too scared to do, so you let the motherfucking imposters do it.
Right.
You let the ones they send to replace you do it because they the ones who sent to undermine you. So
Right.
you turn about it being fair play. Right? They all been placed on notice. Right? So let's go to the next slide. This right here is individuals feeding into the universal mind. Right? This is a good depiction because this is like you being a laptop.
Mm-hmm.
The internet is your link into the cloud right there. The brain that you see is the cloud. The land you see is your link, and the individual is your phone or your laptop or your tablet, right? In order to tap into that big brain as your primary thought source, you have to fill up your internal hard drive, right? Which makes your short-term memory have to bypass the hard drive because it's full to get the right answer from the big brain up there.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where you get, if two or more come together in my name, I'm there also. It's talking about the universal mind. That's a depiction. Next slide.
Go ahead.
Now, you got different groups of people thinking different stuff. This is what it looked like. So you got your religious conscious community, right? Egregor of a social group. You got your working people, right? Egregor of a social group. You got your working people, your egregor of a company, right? Then you got your neighborhood, your egregor of the neighborhood. Every city got an aura over it. The aura can be seen as a ray of light when you're coming out of the darkness coming up on the city.
Right.
Right? You look like a big dome of light over it. That's the egregor over the city. In order to clean them egregors up, right, you got to get them in harmony. Harmony is done through the synthesis of the different instruments. The different instruments is the different players at the top of the egregor chart.
Uh-huh.
All of them is what you call collecting the masters.
Uh-huh.
Right? Everybody in the music industry know that if you don't got the masters, you don't have anything.
Right.
Right? You at the mercy of the record company. In the middle, you got the company. Right? But you trying to liberate the community by what you did in your social group as a form of entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have to bring them all together. This is why you have what you call conscious music. Right? And even sometimes what appears to be bass and vowel music is still bringing your awareness to the egregor's operation in order for you to know what need to be fixed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, next slide.
Well, we went over there one.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is JFK. I forgot why I sent you this one with this. It's like there's a plot in this country to enslave every man, woman, and child. Before I leave this high and noble office, I plan to expose this plot. 7 days later, he was assassinated. Right? This is what we're talking about. Right? And so you can go to the next one. When you understand what he was talking about, that we was being enslaved, it makes sense. Now, this is getting to the part where you learning how we become informed enough to take control of the collective unconscious and move the great egregor, the 100 monkey effect, is a phenomenon in which a new behavior or idea is spread rapidly by unexplained means. This is where Albert Einstein calls spooky action at a distance. They can't explain it. From one group to all related groups, from one part of the egregor to all of the rest of them, regardless of geographical location, once a critical number is reached, don't give up. We call that critical mass. You know what I've been saying all the time, we're trying to get to critical mass of awareness before everything happens. Now we passed it now. We passed the event horizon, right? So now Horus is rising. We about to see the Aten, the known God expressed in the self, out in the open, right? So the 100 monkey effect is getting them ones at the bottom to become active with the egregor, because they the only ones that can rise all the way to the top, because they were strong enough to hold it up from the bottom. Right? Next slide. Now, this is another reference book that helps you with a deeper understanding of what egregors are. They use this science of the egregor to do conjure work, spellcraft, and what we call magic. Right? Now, you notice it say the occult entities that watch over human destiny. Right? That because when you are not in physical form, you part of the universal egregor, watching the ones in physical form play out this game. We playing a universal chess game because we know we gonna come back. And by the changing and controlling of the egregors, meaning the thinking processes of the entities or the people, it gives the collective egregor the energy to drive us to a singularity in order for the reset. Next slide. Okay, that's from the other one. That's from the other class. Yeah, I think that was all of those.
That's it. All right. Yeah, we had an hour or something. Yeah.
Okay, so at this point, hold on. We'll do a summary. So at this point, we should know that the individual mind ready? So at this point, we should know that the individual mind feeds into the unconscious mind. The unconscious mind feeds into the universal mind. We should also be aware that two people creates another mind, two or more people, as a mastermind group, right? And two or more people can program the mastermind that they create with the mastermind group by writing down in two-dimensional reality the purpose of the egregor. When you write down the purpose of the egregor or the thought form, you are telling it what to do, how to do it, and where to go, who to get, and all of these things happen what seems like magically, right? Because the egregor you create go into the universal mind and make all the necessary connections to bring into reality the things that you are working on as a group, right? So Malachi sent me a message to do an open study group, how we will be doing in the esoteric Nubian class that's not open to the general public. This is right here is a metaphysical class that is above the heads of 98% of the people, right? But the few that's interested going to go to the references and go deeper into the understanding, and that's going to raise their levels, right? So all of us being working together comes full circle with the public service announcement earlier, right? So once you understand that you can create your reality by how you think, and your thoughts should change how you feel. You should feel like you already did the thing you're trying to accomplish. It's the only way you can convince yourself to accomplish it. Because now you know what it feel like. You know what you need to do to attain the feeling. We're trying to get to heaven on earth. So let's go to Q&A so we can clear up some understandings, because this was a real complex thing jammed into a short period.
Yeah. Hey, Rod, I got my first question for you while they get their questions geared up. Yeah, so the collective minds, I think Baba referred to it as one, the mental reservoir, all that. So the way people think around you, like if you got people around you and they think in a certain way different from you. Now, is it a balance, or could that affect you? Like how does that affect you?
It can affect you depending on how strong your individual willpower is. Right. And it's why when you look at leadership, it seems like a leader is stubborn, can't nobody tell them shit. That's called strong-willed. Right. And it always comes down to the will of the few versus the will of the many. But you're going to have what we call leaders emerge organically, and those were the leaders they was trying to subdue. When the organic leader rise, because tribes form around them naturally according to nature. And that's how you can see a chief at an early age, by watching children on the playground. He gonna be either a Zeta, which means he's a loner, or he gonna be the Alpha, which means he's taking charge. Now, when it ain't no alphas out there and the Zeta ain't gonna take charge, the betas will take charge, but it will be all kind of chaos on the playground. We know by looking at the children at an early age who's who and what's what.
A question. Somebody said, let me post this question. He says,
I was gonna ask you, you can pin them up as we go.
Yeah, so it says, so I'm intelligent, or is it?
So am I intelligent, or is it common for everyone to understand what you explain? It's not common for everyone. Was it common for everyone to understand what you explain? It's not common for everybody to understand what I explain. That means that you probably tapping into your God self already before you even seen this class. How can we find our tribe, or how will we be contacted if we're the chosen ones? The point of contact will be different for different people. Some people will be contacted through their family. Some will be contacted by government means, right? As far as finding your tribe, you live with them. And you have to go back to the family lines. You know who you're related to. Mm-hmm. Them is your tribes, the ones that you're related to that feel like you do. But then you got other tribes within your family that's going to tribe up separate. Y'all going to have a different allegiance to a different big mama, even if y'all love each other. Why do things enter my reality when I no longer desire them? Because once you burn off the desire, that's the point of manifestation. You got to remember, you are desiring because you are in the process of determining something that you want created. As soon as you burn that energy off, you manifested what you supposed to had desired. If a male gorilla sleeps with a monkey, does it create a baboon? No. They won't reproduce. Do you believe the current system gatekeepers all informed by locking it behind college? Oh, do you believe the current system gatekeepers all information? They keeping the information back. Well, no, they used to use institutions to keep us from the information, right? So we send people in that don't look like us to get the information and put it in the public domain. Your Aleister Crowleys, your Mary Baker Eddies, your Madame Blavatsky's, your Franz Bardons, because we were not allowed without getting murdered to even attempt to knock on the Masonic halls for this information. So we sent people that they would accept in to put the information in the public. That's why Noble Drew Ali say, I put all of their secrets in the public domain. That's so that you will know there's people coming behind him, right? I mean, after 1929, that's going to be putting secrets in the open. That if we pay attention, we'll be able to see the symbolism until we learn what the symbols mean. Just follow the symbolism, and then as you learn what the symbols mean, you can translate what's being said in your face behind your back. What do you think about Alcoholics Anonymous for indigenous people? Do you think it works? The whole Alcoholics Anonymous concept, the 12-step program, is Egyptian in origin. And the native peoples have varying medicine men designed or trained to cure all addictions. Every addiction is curable. We have shamans around the world that specialize in each addiction because the addiction is most popular in their area. So what happens to mortgages and people that own when the corporation collapses? Those people still continue to have their property. Okay, so the fraud of the banks, right? The fraud of the banks that issued the mortgages. The mortgage mean a dead entity. So they was issuing those mortgage contracts under the pretext of fraud. The person who went to the bank to get the mortgage was the target of the fraud. In all contract law, when fraud is discovered, the person who committed the fraud lose all contractual rights to any emolument derived from the transaction because it's a criminal act, and all proceeds from it is called fruit of the poison tree. So the person who took the mortgage out will have the claim to the land, not the bank. But it's going to be other remedies for people who have also lost in the past. What does it mean to have a light shadow? That's a new term to me. I can't answer that. I gotta know. I gotta see where you got it from and know who's talking in order to know.
You know, like a light, a shadow is a form of light. Really, it's like because it ain't just dark. It has, in order to get the shadow, it has to have a light, right?
Yeah, you can't have a shadow when there is no light present. Darkness don't shine upon darkness.
Okay. Here we go right here.
What's the difference between paradigm and an egregor? The egregor is the thinker. The paradigm is what it do with the thought.
Right.
Right. So when you change your mind and your reality change from that, that's called changing your paradigm, a paradigm shift.
Right. Okay.
I think I broke a code. I'm just asking, is the Titanic, the boat, the ship, really talking about Lost City of Atlantis? It's talking about our wealth. The Titanic was symbolism, the unsinkable ship, right? Was supposed to have been the wealth of the tribes over here, meaning that our wealth was infinite. We just didn't know it.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's at the bottom of the ocean or in the back of your mind, you still rich.
Okay.
So what
Oh, you
happens
already
to
read that one. So
mortgages?
this one.
Okay.
You
Had a
already read
dream.
that one. Okay, hold up.
Had a dream about some man who was telling me about Morse code, and then the dream changed, and we were somewhere at like a pyramid or some older building, and I was rubbing the bottom of the foundation. Interesting. There's no question. Go to the next one. That dream was interesting though. Why do family go against the black goat and anchor and restorer of the Mississippian bloodline? That right there, that's a bomb ass question. But I've already answered this a million times. I even said it in this one. The strongest ones stay at the bottom the longest because they can take it. So the reason why the black goat, black sheep, black wolf, all exiles, Zetas, is because they're not gonna just accept being part of a pack of sorry motherfuckers. They're just gonna be looking at them like these motherfuckers. Then the next thing is because of that, the pack that they dealing with, that they don't want to really, you don't want to kill them, you don't want to destroy them, and you're looking at them with apathy. You apathetic to their plight because they are so lost. But this is going to create learning conditions for the black goat, black sheep, black wolf, etc., to develop in a way that help the most in the family recover from the psychological trauma. So you're going to take all the punishment as one of the ones we need to stand up later. Shit roll downhill and shit turn to fertilizer at the bottom. And the fertilize the ones stuck there the longest to be the strongest when they finally grow. Talk about the movie Leave the World Behind, produced by Obama. I have not seen it. I don't know nothing about it. I heard a sister giving a narrative on it earlier, but I don't watch a lot of movies right now because of what I'm doing. Most of my work is done in meditation, so most of the day I don't even be physically present, mentally present with y'all. So only thing I watch is stuff I can cold flip immediately. Like I got an ongoing line through wrestling because I've been watching it so long. I can read the codes easy through wrestling than I can through new movies. But sometimes, like this movie, people will refer me to it, so I'll go check it out. And some things I'll be able to instantly grasp, and some things will occur to me later. So I can't really talk about
This groundbreaking
will occur to me later. So I can't really talk about much about the movie because it haven't moved my give a fuck meter yet. Are the monsters from the Cthulhu mythos real? They're not monsters, they thought forms. They was created by ancestors a long time ago. They thought forms. Cthulhu is the energy that they tell you was Lilith. And Lilith is one of the oldest matriarchal influences of the planet. What was the big hole in the sun all about? That was the what we call a sun witch. The witch was riding the broom in the sun, right? Yeah, the return to CM Punk. That's do the numbers for CM. That's 313. The P flips off the Unc, which is the uncle. And P is the upside down 6. I can go on and on with that stuff, so I don't want to get too deep into that. How do I control feeling other folks' feelings that keep me feeling down if yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. So you need to learn psychic self-defense. Malachi told us about this a long time ago, but I had already been studying it under some Eastern yoga doctrines. But psychic self-defense is learning how to turn your auric field into like an eggshell that blocks out all negative energy that you don't want. Right? So there's people around the land. I don't know exactly where to send you now, but with the Nubians broke up, but there is people that teach psychic self-defense, and there's books written on it as well. I think one of the best authors I've ran across was Ruth Montgomery. Next one, Elder. I heard the spots on the moon is the actual shadow of Earth and how it really looks. Look, go to the movie theater. When they playing the movie, if you look back at the lens, you can see the movie playing through the lens of the projector. And then that ought to tell you something. Wanted to say thank you, love, peace, and light. All the time. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the people becoming aware of what we're trying to do. Who first agreed to the lines that divide the countries and names of the countries in ancient times, and how did they create map? What those are called lines of demarcation. They not ancient. The ancients maps, the territories was mapped by what we call geoformations, right? And this is why you got tribes lived on riverbanks and tribes lived in valleys under hills and tribes that lived on top of hills, right? Because this was how we divided the land up. Lines of demarcation is probably 1,000 years old, if that. But the name of the first person that done it is not easy to locate.
Yeah, we had tribal lands and tribal areas based on different land geographic.
Yeah, we use geoformations. That's why what we call America was never supposed to cross the Appalachian Mountains. Everything after that was acts of war. And they've been here under acts of war. That's why they've been issuing warrants, ongoing declarations of war. Did Siberians also come from Russia to America, and Russia controlled the West Coast? Russia never controlled the West Coast of the United States, but they did offer aid and assistance to the organic people of the land when we was fighting the French and the Spanish on the East and the West Coast.
Okay, that was a good one.
Are there beings living on the sun or sun beings in general? Look, life is not restricted to what you perceive on Earth.
That's right.
Right? Every planet got a different type of or species or creation type that's suitable for the habitat. Right? Fire beings inhabit the Earth. I mean, the sun. You can see them walking on the sun sometimes. You know? And that's microscope, real high power microscopes to see that stuff. But life exists everywhere life is. There's nowhere where life isn't. So there's nowhere that life doesn't exist. All is within the realms of possibility because we live in the realm of infinite possibilities. If it's possible, 9 out of 10 is being done somewhere on a different timeline or the same timeline at a different point.
Mm-hmm.
What about white people leaving the United States and we got our land back and our wealth? Is that coming soon? White people ain't white. That's where the problem came in at. We was
Right.
thinking all the time that pale faces, white skin is white people. Them not white people. And yeah, them motherfuckers got to go. The ones who look like us that ain't us. I don't care where they go. They not staying here.
Right. Right.
Can you speak on what happened to the Virginia East Coast Indians throughout history? Have they been involved in any wars? They've been involved in the most wars. The most war, the most conflicts, when you look at the wars, we fought them all over the land. But the biggest concentration was the front that was put up from New York to Florida. And all of those tribes over there, the Lenape to the Gullah Geechee to the Shinnecock, all of them was involved in fighting these people. But we would have been so reduced in people with original blood that we wouldn't have been able to reclaim the land at the close of the age unless we adjusted to the conflict and evolved the warfare to a protracted struggle with conjure rules as opposed to physical combat rules. Because we wasn't going to never surrender and we wasn't going to never retreat. And they apparently wasn't going to stop coming till one side was totally annihilated.
We'll take two more, then we'll cut out. We'll take two more.
Okay, what does it mean when I can look into the sky and I see tiny lights like sparklers everywhere being seen as here? You just got a broader spectrum of the light spectrum that you can see from the average person.
Okay.
Dynamic access memory is in computers. Does that has anything to do with humans when we dream? All of the computers is based off the functioning and understanding of the ancients of the human mind. The way that the human mind was described in ancient texts is what they used to develop the computer. So all aspects of the computer is based on your brain, your mental functioning. Short-term memory is RAM. Your long-term memory of the self that you learn in your lifetime, that's your hard drive. And then you overrun the hard drive, your long-term memory, you have to then draw from the cloud. The cloud is the universal mind or the universal egregor. Took us back to the beginning, Elder.
Yeah. Hey, back to the beginning. I like this shit though. I'm gonna do more investigation on it and get those books that you called out. Because I know Baba talked about the org egg, and I did a little bit of information in the Ascension Manual, but this is another little piece of it that I'm looking at. Another little the connection between all the org eggs connected together as one unit.
This is kind of it seemed like for regular people, what we was going over was kind of simplistic, but the concept is an esoteric concept that I got to try to figure out how to get people to understand it using the resources available so they can assimilate and utilize it to our greatest advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So this wasn't easy for me to break down as it might seem because I had to try to make it so simple that it's almost impossible to explain it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we do got a lot like the law of success is like this. When I was doing I was drawing a curriculum for an entrepreneurial class. And this book is like one of the first books we start with. This was the beginning of the class on entrepreneurial. Another one is called Becoming an Entrepreneur. It's like, and that's what I was writing that curriculum based off of. And then as I learned more, I went on to something else.
Interesting. All right, well, Raw, I know you. Hey, we like them hour and 30s because they like them hour and 30s. Them hour and 30s, it just be just like just right. So Raw, we gonna come back with another one. Because this is the time when we run them back to back during Christmas time. We like to get them going. So we'll be back with another one probably the day after next, or whenever the next time we free with one, and we'll talk about the next one. Hey, but you got anything you want to close out with? Public service announcement, and then you want to tell the people, hey, y'all hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you want to show Rod some love on the Cash App, we got the Cash App in the links right there, right? Right on the screen. Y'all, and be sure to go follow Rod on Instagram. I'm gonna add. I found a new way so I can add his link on there, so you just click right on it instead of just having to do typing in. So I'm gonna add it to where you can just click right on it, and it'll go straight to the Instagram. Because he be doing. People was asking me how can they get into the lives when Rod be bringing people in. You got to go to his Instagram page, DSkype8 on Instagram. We'll have that links in the descriptions for you.
Yeah, the Instagram is the Sick 8. I haven't been doing much on the live on there because I was waiting on something that came today. Thanks to Dr. G, House of Reawakened Minds, she being a real connector, connecting the pieces that we needed. So when the three sisters sent me in, and three sisters are sending us out, we closing it out with the three sister knot. And it's right now it's on the verge. They're already announcing it. Oh, Elder, based on what the public service, I got a receipt that y'all can post it as a short later.
Okay.
I'm gonna send it to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna clip that public service announcement and try to post it tomorrow. And
Okay.
I'm gonna do shorts from this tape, like because right now I'm doing shorts from every tape, so I got to catch up tomorrow. I got to do the trail of tears. I got to cut at least 7 shorts from it, and then keep on going up till I get out to the tape that we just dropped now. So them shorts gonna be coming. Y'all finna see more shit on Instagram, more shit on TikTok. I'm finna crank this shit up. I'm finna go back and cut shorts from all them receipts for almost 150 tapes we already got out. So I got to cut a lot of receipts. People don't know how many receipts. I can make 1 million receipts off of the shit that me and Ross got out. I'm telling you, I just been cutting like the number ones people been asking about. But I'm gonna go back and start actually cutting some of these receipts to make them into shorts, because a lot of that shit is like people don't watch the whole 3 hours. We got tapes that's 3 hours, 4 hours. That's why I say we do 1 hour and 30. Boom, then we come back with another hour and 30. That way they'll check it out. So we're gonna be back, y'all. We non-stop action trying to take care of them babies, you know what I'm saying? So hey,
Yep.
Long Leckham. Oh, you want to say something to close it out, Rob, before we go out?
I don't got nothing else to say.
All right, hey,